How to invest in stock market? What are the different types of trading? Hey everyone, my name is Indrajit Chantraj. I'm a full-time trader and best-selling author. Today, I will explain the basics of stock market, fundamental versus technical analysis, different types of trading, many trading indicators, how to consider trading as a business, and many more topics. So without wasting much time, let's start.
Friends, do you know as of today, the price of one MRF share is 60,200 rupees? One more important thing about MRF share price is, in its peak value, it was trading around 81,100 rupees per share. That was in July 2018. Come on, friends, it's 81,100 rupees per share. How many shares are you planning to buy? Okay. Do you wonder about the reasons behind these fancy fluctuations in the price? Let's start one by one. What is stock market? Basically, a stock market is a common place where people buy and sell the shares of listed companies. If you're a beginner, you don't have to worry about how these companies get listed in the exchanges. Okay, it's a headache of the companies. So all you have to know is you can buy or you can sell the shares which are listed in the stock exchanges. It's a simple thing. Now, what is a stock exchange? The stock market is a very broad and generic word. We have many stock exchanges, which facilitates the trading or investing process. So in India, we have NSE and BSE are the two famous stock exchanges in India. By the way, do you know BSE is the old stock exchange in Asia? And it is also the biggest stock exchange in the world in terms of listed companies. At the moment, it has listed over 5,500 companies. Similarly, NYSE and NASDAQ are the two famous stock exchanges in the US. Basically, the role of stock exchange is to facilitate the trades between investors and companies, and they will also look after the settlement process as well. Now, what is an index? Now, as you know, NSE is one of the exchange in India. Assume NSE has listed around 100 companies inside it. Now, if someone asks a question, how NSE is doing, we should have one parameter to measure the performance of NSE, isn't it? So that is why generally people come up with the indexes. Basically, an index is a measure. It measures the performance of a stock market. Nifty and Sensex are the two major indices in the stock market, whereas Dow Jones, S&P 500 are the two major indices in the US market. You should know the indices performances in US also impacts the other indices performances in the entire world. Basically, Nifty is one of the famous index in India. And Nifty is calculated by taking the weighted value of the selected 50 stocks listed on NSE and is based on free float market capitalization. Okay, so if you look at the chart, you can see the value of Nifty. So this is the value of Nifty. So today, as of today, it is trading around 11,990 and it is fluctuating every second. Okay, so this is Nifty. Similarly, you can also look at Sensex. If you type here Sensex, you will also get the Sensex values. You can see the value of Sensex. It is trading around 40,923. So similarly, in many websites like TradingView is one, we have charting, we have many other websites. So which list or which displays the price of every index and companies. And this is free. You can make use of it to check the prices of the listed companies. Now, stock brokers, a retail trader, cannot buy or sell the shares directly with exchanges. So this is where registered brokers come into the picture. They act as a bridge between retail traders and exchanges. So any retail trader should create an account with one of the registered broker to buy or sell the shares. So we have many famous brokers in India. The some of the important ones are Zerodha, Upstock, Angel Broking, Motilal Oswal, Five Paisa are some of the top brokers in India. Now, types of trading. We have different types of trading based on the holding time period of the shares. So we have day trading, we have scalping, we have swing trading, long-term investment, positional trading, breakout. So I will give just a simple definition for each of them. So scalping is, only experts can do this. Scalping is nothing but, taking a trade with big quantities, holding for just 1 minute, 2 minutes, or maximum 5-10 minutes, and closing the trade. So please remember, only experts can do this. They do it in a bulk quantity and small movement. They try to capture small movements. Now, day trading. Whenever you take a trade and you close the same trade on the same day, then it is called as day trading. So basically, it's very simple. You will buy some position, or you will, similarly, you will sell the same position by close of the market. So that's called as day trading. Even only experts can do the day trading aspect. Now we'll come to swing trading. Swing trading is nothing but, in this case, you will hold the shares somewhere in between, 3-4 days to 2-3 weeks. So basically, a person will identify a sideways range, and until the trader will try to capture one swing, in swing trading concept. Basically, remember the holding time period is from 3-4 days to 2-3 weeks. Now we have positional trading. So positional trading is a pretty generic word. Again, the holding period somewhere it varies in between 2-3 weeks to couple of months. So again, here people will buy the shares and they will hold for couple of weeks to couple of months. So this is positional trading. And the similarly breakout trading. So breakout trading is one of the powerful powerful trading technique, in which again people will buy the shares and they hold somewhere between 2 days to 2 weeks. So this is breakout trading. The last one is long-term investment. Whenever a person buys and holds the shares for a couple of years, and when he aims to capture the profits by holding for a couple of years, then such type of trading technique falls under long-term investment. So very simple: day trading, scalping, swing trading, positional trading, breakout trading, and long-term investment. So these are the important trading types in trading. Whenever a beginner starts learning something related to stock market, they come across two terms: fundamental analysis and technical analysis, and they get confused whether to study fundamental analysis or technical analysis. In this course, I will give small overview about fundamental analysis as well as technical analysis. Later you can decide whether to pick fundamental analysis or technical analysis. So basically, fundamentalists are more concerned about companies' management, various products, sales, balance sheet, price to earning ratio, cash flow, debt to equity ratio, etc. Broadly, they are concerned about qualitative as well as quantitative aspects of the company analysis. Whereas technical analysts consider the analysis of the past behavior of the prices to interpret their study. They believe that price contains all the information and it's enough to analyze the price chart. In simple words, technical analysts give more weightage to price, nothing else, whereas fundamental analysts consider many parameters like this to come up with an analysis. Now, fundamental analysis. So it is a method of analysis to determine the intrinsic value of a stock. So experts like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger try to identify the company's value as if they are unlisted with no regard for the price. So buy and sell decisions will be made later by looking at whether the price is overvalued or undervalued compared to the arrived intrinsic value. Basically, fundamentalist collects all the necessary information like P/E ratio, ROE, market cap, GDP, company management, quarterly results, RBI policy, sector growth, Fed, debt, face value, everything, and they feed this information to the block box. But before, after feeding this information to the block box, their system will give the exact intrinsic value of the company. So a small suggestion: before you begin with an investment using fundamental analysis, ask yourself a question: do you have any block box which receives all the fundamental information like this and gives a company's intrinsic value? If the answer is no, then how will you decide whether the stock price is overvalued or undervalued, isn't it? Simply debating whether trading or investing, using technical analysis or fundamental analysis is it will not help you in any way. So fundamental analysis is useful for long-term investments, whereas technical analysis is beneficial for short-term trading and timing the entry and exit. Basically, Screener is a good website to get all the information about fundamental analysis. So I will show you the Screener. So basically, this is a website. Screener.in is a useful information to collect all the fundamental information about Indian listed companies. For example, if I type Infosys here, it gives all the fundamental related information about Infosys. For example, market cap, current market price, high, low, stock P/E ratio, book value. It gives everything. Okay. So in this way, you can analyze. It will also compare with peers. It will give all the information about Infosys, quarterly profits, results, everything. So if you still like fundamental analysis, try to find out or develop a system like this to calculate company's intrinsic value. Otherwise, you can have a look at technical analysis. So basically, unlike fundamental analysis, technical analysis doesn't look for any fundamental factors or even for intrinsic value. So it considers only price and sometimes volume are the two essential components. Several indicators have been defined based on the price and volume, which help the beginners and algo traders. So one simple indicator is this moving average. I have plotted two moving average with 9 EMA and 20 EMA and the price chart. So technical analysts believe that the price discounts everything and all the past, present and future information is reflected in the price.
Over 90% of the traders lose money in the stock market. This is the first statement I heard when I started learning to trade a decade back. I'm sure most of the new traders will listen to this statement many times from pro traders. I have not seen any research paper that proves this number is right. However, I feel the actual number is much higher with my experience being a trader and mentor. So instead of wasting time over this debate, I would like to mention a few significant reasons why people lose money in the stock market. I honestly admit that I have committed all these mistakes personally, lost money, and I learned a lesson not to commit these mistakes again. So these are the important 6 mistakes. Because of these reasons, people lose money in the market. So gambling mindset, trading based on the news, jumping across different trading strategies, bad money management, dealing with penny stocks, and averaging down strategy. I will explain one by one. Now, gambling mindset. Many people consider trading is another form of gambling and take their trades without any logical reasons. In one of his articles, world famous trader H.I. Kota says, everybody gets what they want out of the market. I will repeat, he says, everybody gets what they want out of the market. If a person looks for the thrill or excitement, I'm sure the market will provide this, but at a huge cost. So my advice is to try some other method to satisfy your mind if you fall into this category. So never ever approach stock market with a gambling mindset. consider trading as a pure business. Trading based on the news. We have multiple news channels, newspapers that provide a lot of information on the stock market, economic conditions, and the impact of political decisions on the market. However, most of the traders don't have a magic box that accepts all this information and gives the actual price level as an output, isn't it? Besides, I have also noticed big people would have already deployed a dominant position before a piece of flashing news. So, expert traders consciously believe buy the rumor, sell the news theory. I will repeat, they believe buy the rumor, sell the news theory. Whereas beginners unconsciously believe buy the news, become lifelong investor theory. I will repeat once again. The beginners believe buy the news, become lifelong investors theory. That's not a good idea, isn't it? So always, never, ever, make your trading decision based on the news. Next one is jumping across different trading strategies. Do you know who is the famous, sprinter in the world? It's Usain Bolt, isn't it? Do you know why Usain Bolt runs only in 100-meter and 200-meter sprints? Being the fastest athlete globally, why will he not choose to run in another categories such as 400 meter, 800 meter, 1500 meter, 5K or 10K or any other marathon events? The reason is very simple. It is to retain his focus on a small area and to excel in it. Hence, every trader must ask a question to themselves before they jump into another trading strategy. What is important for me in trading? Making money or trading every pattern? So you should always remember, trading and sticking to one trading strategy across different market conditions is very important to elevate your trading skill. You should remember there is a famous quote from famous trader Linda Rashke. She says, all you need is one pattern to make a living. I'll repeat. She says, all you need is one pattern to make a living. So don't run behind different patterns or different trading strategies. Just pick one trading strategy which suits your behavior and personality and just stick to it throughout different market conditions. Next is bad money management. Many expect to believe that first million in a week or even in a few months, which is quite unrealistic. So unrealistic expectation triggers our emotions, isn't it? And we always mess up with our money management. In simple words, we take more risk every trade. So don't take more risk with every trade. Okay, that is an important lesson. Averaging down strategy. The logic of averaging down strategy is very simple. It is all about buying more shares when the price of a stock trades at a lower value. For example, if you bought 10 shares at 100 rupees, if the price comes down to 50 rupees, then buying 20 shares again at 50 rupees will make the total buying average to 50 rupees. Similarly, if the price falls to 25 rupees again, buying another 40 shares at 25 rupees will make the average buying price at 25. Like this kind of buying is created whenever the price goes down and down. When the prices bounces up, you will make a profit. But the above theory looks effortless and very attractive in theoretically. But practically, it's very difficult to make money with this strategy because you might lose your entire capital if the price fails to comes upside, and you might end up losing your entire capital. Moreover, trying to catch by averaging down strategy is like trying to catch a falling knife. You might be able to catch a falling knife, but don't forget it will make a deep wound in your hand. So always stay away from these this strategy, average down strategy. So these are the six important strategies, these six important reasons why traders lose money. So if you don't repeat these mistakes, or if you don't commit these mistakes, you will be, I mean, you don't lose more money in the market and you will stay in the market. So once you stay in the market, definitely it's all about tweaking small, personality traits to make money in the stock market.
Stock market indicators gives an idea of the mood of the market and its potential direction. Indicators are beneficial for beginners as they bring some discipline in their trading by avoiding unnecessary trades every day. Indicators are also highly beneficial for algo traders and mechanical traders as they help them to develop and build the system. However, a small caution is we should not use too many indicators altogether. If you are a beginner, pick one or two indicators, study them in different market conditions, get mastery in it, and then use it. All technical indicators which are available in the stock market are derived using different types of calculation, but from the source of information, that is price. Okay. So basically we have four types of indicators: trend indicators such as moving average, MACD, momentum indicators, RSI, stochastics are some of the example, volatility indicators, Bollinger Band, average two range are some of the examples, and volume indicators, force index and volume profile are some of the examples. In this module, I'm going to explain very couple of few simple indicators so that one will understand how to use those indicators. The most simplest and most popular indicator is moving average. It is used to identify the direction of a current market price trend, removing the interference of short-time noises. It combines price points of a stock over a specific period of time frame and divides it by the number of data points to present a single trend line like this. The data used depends on the length of the moving average. For example, a 20-day moving average requires 20 days of data. So we have two types of moving average: simple SMA and EMA, simple moving average and exponential moving average. So exponential moving averages just gives little more importance to the recent price fluctuations. Otherwise, there is not much difference between SMA and EMA. So I will show it on the charts. So for example, this is a chart. This is a TradingView website. This is a simple Reliance chart, daily chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply moving average indicator here. For example, this is a moving average. So if you select moving average, this is simple moving average. If I select moving average exponential, it is exponential moving average. You can select anything, almost both are same. So I'm going to select only the moving average, that is simple moving average. See, this is a line, right? So this is a simple moving average. And this is a 9-day moving average. You can change these settings. For example, if you click on these settings, so you can change it to 25, for example. This is a then it becomes a 25-day moving average. For example, the value of moving average on the last trading day is around somewhere here. For example, it's somewhere here, 2210. So this is nothing but an average of last 25 days, closing price. So if you make an average of last 25 days closing price from here, it comes from somewhere here. So this is how it plots like this. So it requires the last 25 days of trading data to give this value. Similarly, it has plotted the moving average from past previous 25 days. So one can vary this from 9 to 25, or you can change according to your wish. But remember, whenever you increase the total number of days, it smooths out. It becomes very it smooths the noise. So if you go for a shorter duration, it will be very active. Actually, means very. It shows a big reaction to the price. Can you see this? So this is how one can use moving average. So the next famous indicator is RSI. So apart from moving average, RSI is one of the famous indicators in traders community. It is mostly used to identify momentum of a stock, and it is expressed as a figure between 0 to 100. Any RSI value above 70 is considered as overbought, and any value below 30 is considered as oversold. And RSI divergence is also one of the famous trading concept. So we can check here. For example, I'm going to remove moving average. I will go for some other script. For example, I will go for Bajaj Finance. I'll go for Bajaj Finance chart. I'm going to apply RSI indicator. Okay, it is there already. I've added RSI indicator. So this is an RSI indicator basically, and it logs the values between 0 to 100. So this is 100, this is 0, and any RSI reading below that is considered as over sold actually, and any value between above 70 is considered as overbought. Can you see this? This is overbought scenarios. So this is how one can use here. Also, it is a overbought scenario. So this is how one can use RSI indicator. Now stochastic. Stochastic is also an oscillator, momentum oscillator, and it is very similar to RSI as well. And it compares a specific closing price of an asset to a range of its prices only over a period of time, and it shows momentum and the trend strength. And it uses a scale of 0 to 100. A rating below 20 generally represents an oversold market, and a rating above 80 represents an overbought market. But you should remember, it can stay below 20 for a over period of time in a strong downtrend. Similarly, it can stay above 80 in a strong uptrend. I will show it in the chart. For the explanation sake, I will remove RSI. Now I will apply a stochastic. Stochastic indicator is there. I've added this. So once again, this is a reading between 0 to 100. See, can you see this? Here, it traded above 80, for example. It stayed there for more period in a strong uptrend. Here also it traded above 80 for more duration. Here, see, can you see this? This is traded below 20 when the market is in downtrend. So this is how one can use stochastic as well. Now Bollinger Bands. So Bollinger Bands consists of two envelopes plotted at a standard deviation, two standard deviation levels above and below of simple moving average. The distance between the bands is based on the standard deviation. Hence, it will vary based on the volatility. Bollinger Band expansion is a famous trading concept actually. Bollinger Band expansion is one of the famous trading concept actually. We will see it on the charts. I will remove this stochastic. Now I'm going to apply the Bollinger Bands. So I'm applying Bollinger Bands here. So this is very simple actually. So this is a Bollinger Band. This is a upper band. This is a lower band. This is a moving average. So this is how people can use. So most of the people is look for a Bollinger Band, compression and then expansion. It's like a breakout trade. For example, if you see here, can you see this Bollinger Band has contrasted a lot and it is started giving a breakout from the band, upper band like this. So usually people will look for this kind of trades. They can take a trade here and they keep initially they keep stop loss at the lower level, lower band, and then they can trial stop loss at the middle band. So that's how they can continue. So this is how one can take a trade. Here also there is another Bollinger Band expansion trade. So this is how people can use Bollinger Band. The next one is ADX. ADX, it illustrates the strength of a price trend. Basically, it is plotted on a scale of 0 to 100, where a reading of more than anywhere 20-25 is considered as a strong trend. Traders can use this information to gather whether uptrend or downtrend is likely to continue. I will show it in the chart. I will remove Bollinger Band. I'm going to apply ADX. Added ADX indicator here. So this is a red DI indicates downward trend, green DI line indicates upward trend. So this black line indicates the ADX line. So you can change the settings here. For example, I can make this ADX indicator in a darker way, like that. So I can change. We can change all these settings here. So I will return as it is. So this black line indicates ADX line. So whenever this black line is above 25, for example, this is a this dotted line is a 25 level. So whenever the price is above this 25 level, so this indicates a stronger trend. Suppose if the green DI line is above red DI line, it indicates stronger uptrend. For example, can you see here from here the green line is crossed above red line, which means it indicates a stronger uptrend. Whenever the this ADX line is above 25, it indicates a stronger uptrend. You can see somewhere here, for example, here also, here for example, red line, red DI line went above green DI line. So this indicates a stronger downtrend, and ADX line is anyway it's above 25. So this indicates stronger downtrend. So one can use ADX indicator like this. These are some of the simple indicators which I have covered. So if you are really interested, you can explore other indicators as well. But however, trade using too many indicators is not a good idea. You just pick one or two indicators, study those indicators in different market conditions. You can develop your own trading system based on your observation, check the performance, and then you can deploy it in your trading. Do you know what is the best way to invest your money? What should a beginner invest in? Hi friends, I am Indrajit. I am a full-time trader and author of 3 best-selling books. Charles Dow wrote a series of articles on Wall Street before his death. As per Dow, all market-related information such as past, present, and even future is discounted and reflects on the charts. Today I am presenting a simplest version of his theory. First, disclaimer. As per Dow, there are 3 stages of the market: uptrend, downtrend, and sideways trend. What is an uptrend? Uptrend is nothing but a series of higher lows and higher highs. If you consider this as a swing low, this as a higher low, isn't it? Similarly, as compared to this, this is another higher low, another higher low, higher low. And similarly, if you consider this as a first swing high, so this is a higher high, isn't it, as compared to this? Similarly, higher high, higher high. So this is very simple. To put it in a simple way, whenever a price keeps on making higher lows and higher highs, we recognize the script is in uptrend. I will repeat once again. Whenever the price keeps on making higher lows and higher highs, we consider the script is in uptrend. Then what is downtrend? Downtrend is also similar. It is nothing but a series of lower highs and lower lows. If you consider this as a first swing high, as compared to this swing high, this is lower high, isn't it? And as compared to this, this is another lower high. Similarly, another lower high. It continues like this. And similarly, if you consider this as a first swing low, this is another lower low, isn't it? And as compared to this, this is another lower low and another lower low, right? So to put it in a simple way, whenever the price keeps on making lower highs and lower lows, we recognize the script is in downtrend. I will repeat once again. Whenever the price keeps on making lower highs and lower lows, we recognize the script is in downtrend. Then what is sideways trend? Whenever the price makes same lows and same highs, we recognize the script is in downtrend. This is very straightforward. We'll look at one example for uptrend. So this is an ICICI Bank chart. If you consider this as a first swing low, as compared to this, this is higher low, isn't it? And similarly, higher low, another higher low, isn't it? Similarly, if you consider this as a first swing high, so this is another higher high, higher high, higher high. So this is nothing but a series of higher lows and higher highs. So this is a perfect example for uptrend. We look at one more example. This is Bajaj Finance chart. So this is, if you consider this as a first swing low, so higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, isn't it? Similarly, if you consider this as a first swing high, it has made higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, isn't it? So this is nothing but a series of higher highs and higher lows. We look at one example for downtrend. If you consider this as a first swing high, the price has made lower low, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, isn't it? Similarly, if you consider this as a first low, lower lows, lower lows, lower low, lower low, lower low, isn't it? It's nothing but a series of lower highs and lower lows. We look for one more example. This is S Bank chart. If you consider this as a first high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Similarly, if you consider this as first swing low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. So this script is in perfect downtrend, isn't it? Look at one example for sideways trend. This is VRL chart. So this has made almost same highs and same low, isn't it? So this is a perfect example for a sideways trend script. Look at one more example. This is a Canara Bank chart. So this also made same highs and same low, isn't it? This is another example for sideways trend. Then how do you make a perfect entry for investment? Two things are very crucial to get success in investment. You need to identify the beginning of uptrend, and you need to identify the beginning of the you need to identify the end of uptrend as well. So at the beginning of the uptrend, you can take your position, and at the beginning of end of the uptrend, you can close your position. So the two important things are identification of the beginning of the uptrend and identification of the end of the uptrend. We'll see how do we achieve this. So this script is in downtrend, isn't it? It is making lower lows and it is making lower high. The first warning comes when the price makes first higher low instead of making a lower low. So as compared to this made a higher low, isn't it? So this is a first warning. And similarly, the second warning comes when the price makes a higher high. As compared to this high, this made a higher high, isn't it? So this is a second warning. And number three comes when the price breaks this higher high. So the price, when the price breaks this level, it confirms the end of downtrend. So from here, it can get into a sideways trend or it can start an uptrend. So one can take position little above this level, keeping a stop loss at this level. I will repeat, the end of downtrend can be confirmed with three characteristics, 1, 2, 3 characteristics. Number one is it makes an higher low. Number two, it makes an higher high. And number three, when the price breaks this higher high, it confirms the end of downtrend. Investors can take trade at this level, little above higher high, and they can keep their stop loss little below this level. So after taking the position, you need to carry it. You need to run your profits. Then what is the best point to exit? Because nobody can exit at the top. It's almost impossible. Then how do we identify the end of uptrend? Below charts helps. So the script is in uptrend, isn't it? It is making higher highs and it is making higher low. The first warning comes when the price makes a lower high instead of an higher high. So as compared to this high, it made a lower high, isn't it? This is the first warning. And similarly, the second warning comes when the price makes lower low instead of an higher low. So as compared to this low, this made a lower low, isn't it? So this is the second warning. When the price breaks this level, lower low level, this confirms the end of uptrend. If you are carrying any position, it is better to exit at this point because this is the end of uptrend. From here, the market can get into a sideways trend or it can get into a deep downtrend. So if you have a position, it is better to exit at this level. I will repeat, end of uptrend can be confirmed with three confirmation. Number one, the formation of lower high. The number two, formation of lower low. And number three, the break of lower low. These three things are really crucial. We'll see a few examples. So this is a Bajaj Finance chart. See here it was in a downtrend. So first it made an higher low. So instead of making a lower low, it made an higher low, number one pattern. And number two, instead of making a lower high, it made an higher high. And when the price breaks this higher high, this confirms the end of downtrend. See what happened after that? Price rallied. So this is your entry point and this is your stop loss point. We look at one more example. This is Reliance Industries. Can you see the script is in downtrend? It has made lower highs and lower lows. Can you see here what happened? Instead of making lower low, number one, it made an higher low, isn't it? And similarly, instead of making a lower high, it made an higher high, isn't it? And when the price breaks this level, it confirms the end of downtrend. So you can take an entry at this level and the stop loss you can keep at this level. And we look at one more example. This is a RF Pharma chart. So this is in downtrend. It made lower highs and lower lows. Here also it made a lower low. But here, instead of making a lower low, it made a higher low, isn't it? Number one pattern. And similarly, instead of making a lower high, it made a higher high, isn't it, with this? And the break of higher high confirms the end of downtrend. Investors can buy their position at this point of time, and they can hold their scripts until it shows the end of uptrend. I'll repeat, they can hold their scripts until it shows the end of uptrend. I'll recap the entire video. Uptrend consists of series of higher lows and higher highs. Downtrend consists of series of lower lows and lower highs. Sideways trend consists of same lows and same highs. The best entry point is when the price shows end of downtrend with a stop loss below the point 1. Similarly, the best exit point is when the price shows the end of uptrend. In between, people can trial their stop loss below every swing low to minimize the risk and to capture the maximum profit in case if price reverses. Do you have any questions or feedback? Please write it in a comment. To stay up to date with my latest trading videos, make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking this subscribe button. Thank you. Does swing trading work? Whether swing trading is better than intraday trading? Hi friends, my name is Indrajit Chantraj. I'm a full-time trader and author of 3 best-selling books. First, disclaimer. Swing trading is a trading technique that seeks to capture a swing when the price goes into a complete sideways zone. The idea is to get out of the trade before the opposing pressure comes in. It means you look to book your profits before the market reverses. So if you look at this chart, so this is in a sideways mode, right? We aim to capture this swing or we aim to capture this swing. This is the fundamental idea of the swing trade. Then how to take a trades in swing trading? So first you need to identify a range bound market in an index or in a script. Then we need to observe the price action very carefully at the support level if you prefer to take a long trade. Similarly, you need to observe price action very carefully at resistance level if you prefer to take a short trade. If there is a strong price rejection at the support level, then you can plan a long trade the next candle open. Similarly, you can plan a short trade if there is a rejection at the resistance level. In between, you can trial your stop loss when the price moves upside if you have taken a long trade, and you can book profits just before the resistance level. Same case for short trades as well. I will walk through with some of the example. So this is first example. Can you see the price is in clear sideways mode? And can you see this is a price rejection? It's a clear case of rejection. So one can plan a long trade above this, keeping a stop loss below this level. They can target this or they can target little below somewhere here. So this is a good target. So this is example 2. Can you see once again the script is in complete sideways zone, isn't it? And this is a support which is nothing but a buyer zone, and this is a resistance, which is nothing but a seller zone. Can you see a clear case of rejection here? Price tried to break this level, but this is a clear case of false breakout. So one can take short trade below this candle, keeping a stop loss above this, and they can target the first layer of the support. Don't wait until price reaches here, you can exit here. Can you see example 3? So this is also in a clear cut sideways mode, and this is a support zone, and this is a seller's zone, that is resistance zone. Can you see the clear case of rejection here? So one can plan a short trade below this, keeping a stop loss above this, and they can target the first layer of the support zone. So this is example 4. Once again, the script is in a beautiful sideways mode, and this is support zone and this is seller zone. Can you see this? This is a clear case of rejection, right? So one can plan a long trade above this, keeping a stop loss below this, and we can target this area. Now you might ask a question, why should I book profits at resistance for a longer trade? What happens if I carry forward from here? Friends, please remember, as a swing trader, you are only looking to capture one swing in the market. To ensure a good success rate, you have to exit your trades at the resistance levels, because that is the idea of swing trading, right? You are not doing trend following trading here. So this is the idea of swing trading. I hope you got the point. Then what are the advantages of swing trading? It gives outstanding results when the overall market is also in sideways trend. And you don't have to spend more time in live market as compared to intraday traders. And your trade, sometimes it might last from few days to few weeks. And it is the best suitable trading technique who have other jobs or businesses. And even stress level is stress level is less as compared to intraday trading. Then what are the disadvantages of swing trading? It gives medium or average results when the market is in trending market. But remember, market trends only 20 to 25% of the overall duration. And a trader will not be able to ride the trends. Again, the success depends upon how a trader aligns his trade with the market conditions. For example, if the index is in a deep downtrend, then it doesn't make any sense to opt for a long trade using a swing trading technique, isn't it? In such a case, it is better to look for a short trade when using the same swing trading technique. Similarly, when the index is in strong uptrend, it doesn't make any sense to take for a short trade. You can look for a long trade. And there is no another disadvantage is there is an overnight risk with this. And similarly, one more disadvantage is return is less as compared to intraday trading. What are the best books on swing trading? So these are the 2 best books on swing trading: How to Swing Trade by Brian and Price Action Breakdown by Laurent Damer. I have given the links of these books in the description box. Thanks for watching, friends. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe this channel. And if you have any questions, please write it in the comment box. Thank you. Do you want to learn how to master price action trading? Then watch the video till the end. Bhav Bhagavan hai means price is God. This is the disclaimer. What is price action? Price action means a simple price fluctuations of a script in the market. So these fluctuations is nothing but price action. Then what is price action trading? Price action trading is a trading technique in which a trader will read the market and make subjective trading decisions based on the price movements rather than relying on any indicators. If you look at this chart, there are no indicators. It's just a price and just a volume. So based on this information, a trader will make a decision whether to buy it or whether to sell it. So this is price action trading. 2 things are very crucial to get master in price action trading. Number one, identifying the support and resistance level. Number two, price acceptance or rejections at support and resistance level. Then how to identify support and resistance level? So there are many ways. So drawing trend lines, pivot points, round numbers, etc. But the most simplest and effective way of identifying support and resistance level is through drawing trend lines. Then how to draw a trend line? A trend line is a straight line drawn on a chart which connects two or more three peaks, which reveals the trend of the script. It also reveals support and resistance points. What are the three useful references to draw a trend line? So these three reference points are very important to draw a trend line. Price peaks and the slope of the trend line, and the price should respect the trend line. What is this? I'll explain one by one. What is price peak? If you look at here, I have drawn a trend line by connecting four peaks. So this is also called a support trend line because this trend line acted as a support whenever price came to this level. So this is price peaks. One more example for price peaks is this one. I have connected four price peaks here. This is called as resistance trend line because this line acted as a resistance whenever price reached this level. So you should always remember to connect the price peaks. You should connect minimum 2 to 3 price peaks to call it as a valid trend line. Then the slope of the trend line. The slope of the trend line is very important, and the slope is less than 45 degree because that indicates the healthy sign of a trend. If the slope is very high, it indicates the trend is not very healthy. So in this case, the slope is it's almost equal or greater than 45 degrees. So this is not a healthy sign of a trend. You should always look for healthy sign of a trend. The previous example, for example, this is healthy sign of a trend. So this angle is less than 45 degree. What is the third point? Whenever you draw a trend line, remember price should respect the trend line in all the cases. So if you look at here, price respected the trend line. Here it has respected the trend line. Here, yes. Here, yes. Here, yes. Here also it respected the trend line. Should always remember the trend line the price should respect the trend line. So if you look at this example, the price has not respected the trend line. Hence, as compared to the previous case, the importance or the powerfulness of this trend line is less. So always remember to draw a trend line by connecting the maximum peaks. So the price should always respect the trend line. Then the second important aspect of price action trading is price acceptance or rejection at support and resistance level. In simple words, the price acceptance is whenever price spends more time above or below trend line, it is called as price acceptance. We'll walk through one by one. So this is the price acceptance. So if you look at this is a valid resistance trend line, and price has spent more time here. There is no strong selling or there is no rejection. It has spent more time above this trend line, right? So this is called as price acceptance. So in case of price acceptance, there is a higher probability of price moving in the accepted direction. So this is all about price acceptance. Then what is price rejection? If you look at this case, this is a valid support trend line. However, price didn't spend more time below this trend line. It has spent very less time, only 2 bars, and then immediately it bounced back. So this is a clear case of price rejection. Always remember there is a higher probability of price moving in the rejected direction in this case. So now for price action trading, we will combine both. First, the trend line. Number two, price acceptance or rejection. So if you look at this first example, so this price level acted as a resistance. Can you see this big selling wick? And this is a quick response, right? So this is not acceptance. This is price rejection. Means, so in this case, price, there is a higher probability of going down because that is the rejected direction. Can you see the result? After showing the rejection, price, fell down immediately and it reached the support level. So this is one example of price acceptance and rejection. One more example. This is a clear resistance trend line, and can you see this candle? This candle closed sufficiently. There is no selling wick. It closed sufficiently. So it is a kind of acceptance, which means there is a higher probability of price moving in the upside direction. Can you see the result here? Price has moved upside. So this is a clear case of price acceptance. Can you see example 3? So this is a valid resistance trend line. Price has spent more time above trend line. So this is also nothing but price acceptance. So there is a higher probability of price moving in the upside direction. So a trader can plan a long trade here, keeping stop loss below the low of the trend line, below the trend line. Can you see the result? So it's gone up. So before you shoot any questions, we can check some of the charts. Okay, if you look at Adani Ports, this is a simple resistance trend line. Can you see here? It is a clear case of price rejection. So price didn't spend more time at it. Within 2 candles, it came back within the resistance trend line. So it is a clear case of price rejection. So then price fell drastically. So this is price rejection. We'll go for one more example. Go for ABB. If you look at ABB, okay, we can draw a trend line like this. So this is a valid support trend line. Can you see here? Price accepted. There is no rejection, right? Price didn't go above the support trend line. This is a clear case of acceptance. So see what happened after price acceptance. We'll go for one more example. So if you look at this chart, it showed price acceptance and it fell immediately. We look at one more example. SAC. Here it is also, it is quite similar. If I draw a trend line like this, so there is a gap, and this shows price acceptance, means price is getting accepted. So there is a higher probability of price going down. There is no probability of going up. So this is a clear case of price acceptance. Look at one more example, Coca-Cola. I think it is also quite similar thing. So if you look at this, so there is a gap, and within this it closed. It showed clear price rejection. So there is a higher probability when price shows rejection. Which means it trades in the direction of the rejected direction. So this is price acceptance and rejections. I hope this video is very helpful. If you have any questions or if you have something to say, you can write down in the comment box. Thank you. Before we take a trade in stock market, it is better to know the 3 different trading instruments available in the stock market. So basically, there are 3 trading instruments available in stock market. So equity, futures, and options. And it is better to know how these trading instruments works, and what are the different types of risk and reward available with these 3 trading instruments. So number 1, equity offers less risk, and it also it gives less reward. Similarly, with futures, it offers medium risk, and the reward is also medium. Whereas with options, it offers high risk and the reward is also very high. If you are a beginner, even an intermediate level trader, I request to avoid both futures and options because the risk they carry. The idea of this module is to understand how these instruments work and how they offer different degrees of risk and reward. So we will take an example. For example, we will take a ACC example, and the current market price of ACC is 1620. We will check it on the charts. So for example, current market price of ACC is 1620. Assume a trading account has 1,75,000 rupees. So in this case, he can buy 108 shares of ACC. I will show it in the calculator. For example, if a person has 1,75,000 rupees, if the current market price is 1620, he can buy 108 shares, isn't it? So he can buy 108 shares. Now, just for the explanation sake, we will assume ACC has moved 5% upside on the next 2 days. This is just an assumption to understand how it works. So now the ACC price is 1701. The overall profit is 81 points, which is 5% move into 108 shares. So in this case, it comes around 8,748. So the profit is 8,748 on the capital of 1,75,000. So in this case, a return on investment on our capital is around 5%. So this is the case with equity. Now we will check with futures. So basically, anyone can check the margins available with futures in their broker website. So this is a zero margin calculator. So anyone can check with Google. So I will show it here. So basically what it tells is with this much of capital, one person can buy this much of quantity. So here one lot of ACC is 500 quantity. So this has been already predefined by the exchanges, and so what's in simple terms, with this much of amount, one can buy this much of quantity. So in our case, we had around 1,75,000 in our trading account. So automatically, simply we can buy 500, means one lot of ACC. So now with this, with the same assumption, 5% move on the upside. So the what happens is the overall points move is 81 points. So the total profit is around 40,500, which is 81 points into 500 shares. Do you remember one lot is 500 shares? So the profit is around 40,500 on our capital of 1,75,000. So the return on investment on capital is 53%. So it was around just 5% in equity, but it shoots up to 53% in case of futures. Okay. Similarly, we will check how it works with options. One can check with basically, before I explain this, I will say there are two types of options. One is call option, another one is put option. The simple understanding is, whenever the underlying price goes up, the premium of the call option also goes up. Similarly, whenever the underlying price goes down, the premium of the put option goes up. Okay, so it's simple thing. Now for this explanation sake, we will assume the same story. The 5% move happens and in the next 2 days. So before that, assume anyone can check this information with NSND option chain. So I've taken ACC with a strike price of 1620. 1620 is the strike price because that is the current market price. So the two things is very important. So this is call option, this is put option. So I will explain only with the call options because we are talking about 5% move on the upside. As I said earlier, the premium of call option goes up, if the underlying price moves upside. Similarly, the premium of put option goes up if the underlying price falls. So in this case, in this example, we are taking 5% move on the upside, right? So I will consider only the call options. So the two important things what we need to remember is LTP. So this is the price of this premium 1620 CE price is this, and IV, so implied volatility. So what this indicates is if the price, underlying price ACC moves up, it says the premium also moves up by 30%. That's what it says. Now with the capital of 1,75,000. So with the 1,75,000 capital, with the LTP, we can calculate how much a person can buy. See, for example, 1,75,000 is the capital. Now the premium is 30 rupees. So divided by 30. So he can buy 5833 quantities of this premium. For example, 1620 CE. This might vary a little bit based on the quantity size, lot size, etc. But this, for explanation sake, we can assume he can buy 5833 because that is the exact division. Now we will assume the same story, the 5% move on the next 2 days. So the ACC price will be at 1701, 5% move. Then the same premium will move up by 30% of this move. Okay, so 30% of 81, which is around 24.3. So the premium new value will be at 54.3%, 54.3. But the profit is, it's astonishing. We need to check the profits. So the profits is 24.3, 30% of this move into 5833. This is the total quantity we bought, the call option. So which comes around 1,41,742. So in this case, return on investment on our capital is 81%. So in the first scenario with equity, we had around 5% ROI. So with futures, we had around 53% ROI, whereas with options, we have 81% ROI. So these are the, this is how these three different trading instruments work. I will repeat once again, both futures and options carry high degree of risk. Your entire capital can be wiped out, if the trade goes against your direction. So if you're a beginner, I request to avoid these, both futures and options. So the idea of this module is to understand or how to explain how these instruments offers with a different degree of risk and reward. Again, with options, there are two types of trading. One is options buying, options selling. What I've explained is through with options buying. So there are different trading strategies. There are millions of trading strategies with options selling as well. However, I feel this much of basic understanding is enough for for a beginner. So what I suggest a beginner should start with equities. So once he started making consistent return, he can try with futures, keeping money management in rule. So one person can think about trading in options only after making profits with capital. Again, by understanding the different degrees of risk available with options. A trading system is the main backbone for all types of traders. A trading system is nothing but a set of rules based on price action or technical indicators. Basically, a trading system tells the trader when and how to take the trade. In many cases, trading system acts like a blueprint for our trading. Basically, a trading system should define when to take an entry. Once entered, where will be our stop loss? Then it should also define the exit criteria to book the profits. And along with this, it should also consider the risk criteria, means how much percentage of portfolio amount to risk per trade. It is better if it defines a trial stop loss as well, because it helps in reducing the loss in case of price reverses. So these are the four essential components of trading system. A trading system should define an entry criteria. It should define a stop loss criteria. It should define an exit criteria. It should also define the risk criteria with respect to a trade. Now I'm going to explain a simple trading system. So this is a simple trading system. Don't use it as it is. I'm just giving this system to explain how a trading system should be. So this trading system defines entry criteria, it defines a stop loss criteria, it defines an exit criteria, it defines trial stop loss, it also defines risk. So we'll come to entry criteria. The entry criteria for this trading system is very simple. So this is a simple pure price chart. I have plotted 9-day moving average. Okay, so this is a 9-day moving average. So the entry criteria, this is only for taking long trade perspective. So entry criteria is very simple. Whenever the price closes above 9-day moving average from below, so that will be our entry. So the next day we will take an entry. So this is an entry criteria. So entry will come little above the closing candle. Okay. The stop loss criteria. So the stop loss criteria is very simple. Whenever we take a trade, the low of the entry candle will act as a stop loss. So this is the stop loss. And the next is exit criteria. So exit criteria is very simple. Whenever the price closes below our moving average, so next day we will exit at that level. For example, in this candle, price closed below moving average, isn't it? So in this case, so next day we will be exiting at this price level. So our exit comes here. Next, trial stop loss. So the trial stop loss is very simple. One can define a stop loss along with the moving average. So for example, in this case, so every day we can trial stop loss along with the moving average. So till today, it has not hit our trial stop loss. So on this day, exit criteria is triggered. So we'll be exiting it. So in this way, this system also define trial stop loss criteria. The risk parameter is very simple. We can deploy only 10% of the trading capital to this trade. So when I say 10% of trading capital, it is not the risk, it is the capital deployment. For example, if you have 1,000 rupees, you can deploy 100 rupees to this particular trade. So in this way, a simple trading system defines the criteria. So there is one more example here. So one more example is here. For example, price closed above this moving average here. You would have taken a trade here. So the stop loss is here. So it would have taken the stop loss here. For example, in this case, we have made a loss. Okay. So this is one simple example. Another simple example is here. So this is another entry criteria. Again, price closed above this 9-day moving average from below. So this will be our entry. This will be our initial stop loss. So along with the moving average, you will trial the stop loss. Here, price closed exactly a little above moving average. So we are not exiting here. So I think the price closed below moving average here. For example, if you have taken a trade here, you will be exiting here. So this is a simple trading system. Now back testing. So before finalizing a trading system, one should define or one should check the performance of a trading system. Hence, back testing is very, very essential. Suppose even if you have defined or even if you are using a trading system, it is better to assess the performance of the trading system. So in this case, back testing is very essential. You can also use this template for back testing, and you can also use this template to log your trades. Okay, so it also acts as a trading journal. So for example, it's very simple. Assume we will consider the same trading system, whatever I'm explaining now. Assume this is the template actually. So first column will contain the trade number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Stock name. Second column is stock name. Third column is entry date. Fourth column is entry price. Next is stop loss, initial stop loss. Next is exit date. Next is exit price. And then risk reward after trade. So what is the total risk reward after trade? Reason for exit and any lessons learned. So for example, this is, I logged, a couple of trades in this. So this is a template I have stored here. For example, trade number is 1. And the stock name is, for example, I'm going to log as Reliance. Now entry date, for example, this is one entry. It closed above here. For example, next entry date is the next date, 15 June 2020. I will write 15 June 20. Next entry price, for example, this is our entry price. The high, for example, the high is 1593. So 1594 is our entry. 1594 is our entry. Stop loss, the entry candle is low is the stop loss. For example, low is, it's clear, 1497. It shows here. Low is 1497. So we will keep at 1496, 1 point below. So this is our entry done, stop loss done, then the exit. So exit, can you see here? Price close below here. So the next day you will be keeping stop loss here. So in this case, it has not triggered our stop loss. So it will continue like this. I think here also, candle closed below the moving average. So we'll be keeping our stop loss here. So in this day also, it has not triggered our stop loss. So here, once again, price closed below the moving average. So we will be keeping our stop loss here. So the next day it triggered here. For example, 3rd August 2020. So exit date is 3rd August 20. Exit date is done. Exit price. For example, this low is the exit price, isn't it? Low is 2052. You can see here. You can see in this column. Yeah. The low is 2052. Assume you would have kept a stop loss at 2051. So this is the thing. The important thing is stock name, it is there, entry date is there, entry price is there, stop loss is there, exit date is there, exit price is there. So reason for exit is price close below EMA. So this is our reason for exit. There is no lesson. How to recalculate the risk reward? So it is very simple. It is a difference between the original risk and the reward. For example, this is our entry price, isn't it? So entry price is 1594. This is the entry price. Where will be our original stop loss? The original stop loss is here 1496. So minus 1496. So the total risk was 90 points. For example, the risk was 98 points. Now we will check the reward. So the reward is, for example, exit price is this. So exit price is 2051 minus where will be our entry price? Entry price is 1594. So 1594. So this is the reward. So reward is 457. Reward is 457 points. So now for the total risk of 98 points, we got the reward around 457 points. So it's approximately 1:4 risk reward. You can check here, divided by 98. So this is 4.6 is risk reward trade. For example, what you can mention is 1:4.6 risk reward trade. So this is the risk reward. 1:4.6 is the risk reward of the trade. So in this way, you can check. You can log as many as trades possible in this by looking at the chart. You can keep on entering that trades from different stocks. So once you have 100 trades, you will get a performance, overall performance. So that's how you can backtest the system. So while backtesting, two things are very important. So accuracy and risk reward. If you find a trading system which gives minimum 50% accuracy and 1:2 risk reward, then it is a good trading system actually. So how do we calculate an accuracy and risk reward? So it is pretty simple once again. So assume you had around for example, around 100 trades. I'm just taking an example. If you had 100 trades, just ensure how many trades are successful. How many trades are successful? For example, assume 52 trades are successful out of 100. So in this case, the accuracy is 50%, isn't it? 52%. Accuracy is 52%. So this is very simple. And similarly, assume you would have got many risk reward details here. For example, maybe 1:2, or maybe a little less because of the loss, etc., etc. Once you aggregate this risk reward, you will get an overall risk reward. For example, assume overall risk reward is, I'm just giving an example. Overall risk reward is, for example, 1:2. Maybe 2.2. I'm just taking an example. So in this way, 52% is the accuracy. Risk reward is 1:2.0. So this is a beautiful. I mean, in that case, it becomes a beautiful trading system, because if you take 100 trades based on the system, so 52 trades will turn out as a profitable trades. So along with it, so usually the average risk reward per trade will becomes 2.0. It doesn't mean every trade will give 2.0 risk reward to, I mean 2.0 reward. So some trades might give more, sometimes it might give less. So in that way, we can calculate the accuracy and risk reward. Even if you are already using a trading system, you can check, you can log your trades, in this journal, trading journal, for next maybe 10 or 25 or 50 trades. You can calculate the accuracy and risk reward. That gives the performance of the particular trading system. So in this way, you can work on to improve the performance of your trading system, or you can fine tune the trading system. So in that way, it will help your trading. And this is a must and should. Every trader should have this trading journal, because if you keep on logging all your trades, so it will clearly indicate in which direction you are going wrong, or in which direction you are making more money. So this trading journal, it helps for back testing. It also helps to fine tune your trading. What is your idea of trading? Do you consider trading as fun, or do you get thrilling experience when you take a trade? Then trading may not be the right profession for you, or you need to change the definition or your idea of trading. If you are here for thrill, then I'm really sorry to say this. Market is not the right place now to find the thrill. I suggest to go for bungee jumping or skydiving or underwater diving, but definitely not stock market. So stock market is a very expensive place to find for thrill. If you notice, an engineer will need minimum 4 years to complete his education and to become an engineer. Similarly, a doctor spends around 5 to 7 years to become a doctor. Similarly, a navy officer will spend around 4 to 6 years during the and after the graduation period to become a navy officer. But many of us think by attending a seminar on weekend, or by reading a book, we think we become a trader in 1 weekend, or in a couple of days, or 3 4 days. But it is not possible, friends. So you need to dedicate some time. You need to have the same focus, the persistence, effort to become a profitable trader. So one should consider trading as a business. It is interesting to see how our subconscious mind comes up with excuses, and it is not ready to take the responsibility for its actions. I hear so many excuses every day. You know, they are like, some are like, I have to do more work at the office. No one is cooperating in my team, and I don't get time due to traffic. The traffic is very high. And some people say, my boss can't understand anything. I'm having tough time to deal with him. And some people will say, my parents don't agree with me. They always, disapprove whatever I do. Some people say, my spouse don't understand the importance of money. Some say, I don't have a MBA degree or sufficient education background to learn trading. Some people say, I don't have the necessary experience. Some people say, they are very silly. They say, I don't have time on weekends. I need to attend some functions. These are all the some of the excuses people can come up with to avoid trading or to learn something in trading. By the way, are you someone who uses any of the above or similar excuses for anything in life? Then you can perform the below task. Then think, whether it makes sense or not. Take a plain sheet of paper and list down all your excuses and problems in your life. Whatever the problems, it may be a silly problem or excuses or whatever it may be. You list down all your excuses and problems in your life. Okay. Once you are satisfied that you have listed all your excuses and problems, fold the paper sheet into 3 4 times, and then visit the nearest supermarket or provision store and buy was one lemon. Okay, take one lemon and try to pay with that paper which contains excuses and problems. Instead of paying by cash or card, try to buy that one lemon by exchanging that paper which contains your excuses list and problems list. Do you think cashier or store person will accept your list of excuses and problems? Obviously no, right? Then what does the mean? What it indicates? What it indicates is one simple lemon costs maybe 4 rupees or 5 rupees in India. What it indicates is the list of your problems or excuses is not even 5 rupees worth, friends, isn't it? Then why are you trying to sell your worthless excuses and problems every single time in life? Okay, I hope you got my point, right? So from this moment on, just stop making excuses for anything and everything in life. Take responsibility for your action, and you will definitely see a different life where people will treat you differently and you automatically gain recognition. If you are still doubtful, you can take this action for next 24 hours. Don't offer any excuses or reasons for anything in your life, even in your mind, and see how you regain power. So trading, successful trading is all about, considering as a business. Okay. And you should not come up with any excuses, because whatever the hell happens in trading, it is our action. It is my responsibility. Whenever you develop this kind of mindset, you will see a different results in trading. So that's all I can say in this module. I hope this explanation is quite useful. Thank you, friends.